Alright, welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name's Elliott and you're watching Rickety Ski Reviews. Today we're back in the saddle reacting to some Curated on the Atomic Bent 110. Now, to give you some backstory, I love the Bent 110. It was one of my favorite skis I skied on this year. I'm looking at buying a pair for next year. I just absolutely love them. Partially because they are so good at turning short radius turns in the trees while also having really good flotation, having that horizon tech. Historically, I didn't like the Bent 100 of old, but that was because they made the skis a little too soft. The Bent 110 has like the perfect proportions and the right stiffness. The 2025 Atomic Bent 100 fixed that, but that's just some background. This is a ski that I really like and a ski that I think does a really good job mixing short radius tree turns with powder performance. So an excellent ski. It actually manages to carve pretty well too. I think it's one of my favorite powder skis. It's right up there with the Salomon QST 106. Those two skis I gave a 10 out of 10 for powder performance and they are really fun. So let's just jump into it. Also, one quick note, I know a lot of people were asking how I was doing after my injury. Thank you so much everyone for reaching out. I am doing way better today. I can kind of walk around and have full movement. I'm not sure if I'll be able to ski before the mountain closes, but we'll see. If you're wondering what happened, it's on video from my video for Monday, but basically I pressured my ski too much. The ski sank into the loose snow and then like the inside edge caught because it was kind of submerged in snow, and then that sent me into a spin. I tried to correct it by skiing backwards, but my momentum of spinning kind of caught my other edge and I crashed and hurt my hip and my back. Luckily I didn't break anything, which I consider to be really lucky, but just kind of have some soreness in my shoulder, a ton of soreness in my hip and lower back, but each day I think it gets progressively better. So anyway, if you didn't see that, I'll link it below in case you're confused. But back to what I was talking about, let's react to Curated. Let's just jump into it. This is Curated's review of the 2024 Atomic Bent 110. Like I said before, I gave the ski a perfect score. It was a ski I really loved. Curated doesn't tend to give the best advice with ski gear. They also sell it, so one, they don't tend to talk that badly about it, but the experts they have are questionable. Some of them are pretty good, but a lot of them are just full of baloney. And that's not even like all the experts that work there. I have a few people who are viewers who seem to have pretty good insight. It's just like a total roll of the dice of who they put in front of the camera. And here we go.
Hey, I'm Luke. I'm a ski expert at Curated. I've helped hundreds of people find the right ski gear for them, and today I'm reviewing the Atomic Bent 110. Just so you know, I am not sponsored by any of these brands, so all these reviews are completely unbiased. So Atomic claims that this...
Okay, first off, I know in my Atomic Maverick video, I critiqued them for skiing backwards, but in this case, it actually makes a ton of sense. This ski is splayed in the tails. It's meant for it to be kind of like a backcountry free ride, you know, a ski you can do butters in the powder with. I don't tend to use it for that. I like the really quick turn radius so you can kind of get into the trees and find stashes of powder, especially with the way winters have been lately. And I also like it combined with that flotation, but it's totally relevant this time, so kudos to them for that. I hate whenever they say, oh, well, this is just my unbiased opinion. It's like, well, kind of, except Curated has a relationship with Atomic and sells the ski, so it's not totally unbiased. They also, you know, I don't know, the Curated experts don't make money by not selling skis, if that makes any sense. Like, I have affiliate codes and I make money if you guys choose to buy stuff, but I don't really care. It's not my main driving force. Curated makes money pretty much purely by selling skis, so just a little difference. It irks me, but also, like, saying you're unbiased is nonsense. Everybody's biased. I have biases, but I try to at least address them ahead of time and get out in front of it rather than like pretending I don't. I try to be totally honest with you guys. I don't take money from ski brands, but I get biases, right? Everybody has these little tiny biases. Oh, you know, like the Atomic guy is super nice to work with, so yeah, I tend to like, it tends to be easier for me to ski on them, so those videos tend to go out first. That's a bias, but at the end of the day, I try to go, okay, what's the value of the ski? How does it perform? Would I actually want it? And Atomic makes skis that I wouldn't want to own. I was really vocal with the Bent 100 back when it was too soft, and so on. So saying you don't have any biases is, I don't know. It never means what they seem to think it means.
This is definitely more of a freestyle, free ride, playful ski. And it shows. This ski has quite a bit of rocker in the tip, same in the tail. The ski also has a pretty progressive mounting point. It's definitely a little bit more forward than you'll see in some stiffer or...
Oh God, okay, I know that skiing with the thing out front is awkward no matter how you do it, but you guys give me a hard time about my powder skiing style. This looks very uncomfortable. Again, probably just because of the GoPro stick, but yeah, it does not look comfortable. And that's fine, like sometimes the conditions just are uncomfortable, but this seems really rigid. The other thing he's doing that thing where he sprays the snow and skis through it. I hate that. Every single ski hill out there uses it for social media. Every influencer on Instagram uses it. I just hate it. It doesn't look cool. It's more obnoxious to me because I can't like see the line. I can't imagine why people like it. It's like getting sprayed by yourself. I don't know where it came from, but it's played out at this point.
Directional skis. And don't forget, if you'd like help finding the right ski for you, go ahead and hit that link in the description, and we'd love to help you find your next setup. So in terms of flex, this is definitely
okay, those are clean 180s. I mean, I don't know anything about freeride, but I know 180s are kind of basic tricks, but also he's doing it with the ski pole, so that's fine. He did talk about them being center mounted, which is really important because it does change its characteristics. It does kind of change not only its swing weight, but also how easily it maneuvers in the powder. This is one ski where I wish Atomic would send it to me so I could play with it, because I bet that playing with the mounting point would be pretty interesting. But the only way that I was able to review it was basically by going to my local demo shop, so my time's a lot more limited.
on the softer side of the flex spectrum. It's a wood core, but there's no metal. So softer ski and also really light ski. For how wide these are, being 110, they're very light skis. In fact, it's so light that I would actually recommend these to be touring capable. So if you're looking for a ski that you would also be able to take into the backcountry, these are definitely light enough. So these skis...
Well, okay, he's not wrong about the touring. They are light, but the softness thing, it isn't necessarily true. Just because it doesn't have tightenal doesn't mean it's automatically soft. In fact, if you look at a lot of Black Crow skis, like the Atris, that ski is stiff and it only uses wood. And I would say the Atomic Bent is not that soft. It's actually a lot more stable and rigid than the Bent 100 of previous years. It's pretty stable, actually. I never felt like I was bottoming it out. It's light and it has a lot of flotation, but it's not that soft to like carve. There's a difference between rigidity and weight, and he's kind of combining them in his head in a really weird way. Like if you're just going based on what's on your feet, stiffness is not something you'd notice it lacking. It's a fairly like stiff and stable ski. This is like what happens with Curated. They look at the spec sheet and they build the narrative rather than feeling what's on their feet.
They're definitely lacking a bit in the carving department. They just don't hold as strong of an edge as a lot of skis out there. They feel a little squirrely. They're definitely prone to chatter. I was not comfortable getting these skis up to higher speed because they could just slide out from under me.
What? God, there are so many skis that you could say that about, but these actually carved well. And did you take them anywhere with carving? The video you're using is just powder, and I know that that's like not easy to do, and I've gotten better at it over time, but you can show what you're talking about. I just did a review of the Headcore 87, and it's like, while you're talking about chatter, show a clip of the chatter, or even show any carving at all. They carve fine, actually. They're actually a fairly fun ski to carve. They're 110 width, so like edge to edge takes a little bit longer than you'd be used to if you're just talking about a carving ski. But these skis actually carve fine. They have good shape. They have like responsive turning. They give you all your energy back. It's not even its primary purpose. And I would say these carve a little bit better than like the QST 106 even does, just because you're kind of a little more center mounted and you can get quicker turns. I mean, they probably carve about the same, but just differently. These are probably one of the better carving powder skis I've been on all year. They certainly carve better than the Headcore 105. I don't know. I hate when they talk about carving. I thought this would be an easy layup for Curated today because like their powder stuff tends to be okay and their carving stuff tends to be nonsense. But they just decided to... They just ended up stepping on their own feet. They didn't need to talk about carving, yet here we are. Yeah, that's dead wrong. That's dead wrong. They're pretty good at carving. It's not like their primary purpose, but it's surprisingly good for a ski that wide.
The powder ski. Plain and simple. You need some snow. You need big, steep slopes to ski on. But for that, it's great. You know, I had a great time in the trees, in the POW, slashing, buttering. It was fun. I would only...
God, this guy said nothing in the beginning there. It's a powder ski, you know? No, I don't know. Have you been on powder skis in like the early 2000s? It's so different than what it was now. And not only that, this powder ski has like really distinct properties. It has good turning. It has good swing weight. It does really well in the trees. It is not like most powder skis. How is that the first thing you say? He's saying some of it, like with the butters or whatever, but it feels like he's just reading off of Atomic's list. It's a powder ski that makes good short radius turns, has good flotation, and actually holds a pretty good carved turn as long as you load it. For out west, I think it's the best in finding stashes of powder in the trees. There you go. It's like, it took me half a second to explain that rather than, it's a powder ski, you know? No, powder skis are so different across the board. Oh my God.
Pull this ski out when it was 12 inches of snow. Other than that, I really would prefer a skinnier ski. Getting back down after the POW on the groomers just wasn't very fun. If the edges felt hooky on the groomers, the wide ski, it's meant to be skied in soft snow. And
yeah, no wonder you don't like it, because you're like way in the back seat. Of course it feels hooky because you're sitting way back. And you do, of course, this stupid spray thing where you spray the camera. Okay, we've seen it 100 times. It's not cool anymore. Of course you don't like it because it takes forever to turn because you're not actually like forward on it or bending it. You're just kind of sitting on the tails. This is really frustrating. I don't know why they keep coming back to carving. The ski actually does like pretty fine with it and they seem to have no idea how to carve the ski. So they're like docking it for something that they can't do. And I was like the first person to be critical of the Atomics. And yet here we are. At least the Atomic Bent series. And now we've come full circle. How the turntables turn. Okay, let's just finish this video. This is really, really frustrating. This is not good. I forgot how relaxing ski reviews are this winter. Okay.
And for that, it's good, but it is a bit more of a niche ski that for certain people in certain circumstances will work great. But it's not a great one ski quiver.
So because these are on the wider end of the spectrum, I would definitely recommend these.
Who was suggesting it as a one ski quiver? Nobody should be. It's a powder ski. What are they talking about? Has anyone suggested the Atomic Bent 110 as a one ski quiver? I'm sure people in ski shops have. I'm sure people have. Secondly, this ski is less of a specialty tool than a lot of other powder skis. They're just looking at the stats. Yes, 110, you think it's more of a specialty. This ski actually turns pretty well. I don't know. Did they ski on the ski? I wouldn't believe they did if I didn't have footage of it right here. I think it's just like a lack of knowing how to carve, so when the ski doesn't kind of do it for you, like an Elan Ripstick does, reviewers don't know what to do with it. And I'm not the best skier. Like, I ski with Zach and you can just see he's way better than me, but these guys are lacking ability and then passing it off as a shortcoming of the ski. Which I know, like, you could argue I've done that, but I try really hard not to. Like, I had the Headcore 87. I wouldn't buy that ski for myself, but I can understand and appreciate how people would enjoy it and use it. Okay, let's keep going. It's probably just people pitching, oh, every ski is a new skier, yada yada. I haven't watched this. This is my first time, but let's just finish this video.
Either for, if you're on the East Coast, these would be a great dedicated powder ski. And if you're out in the West or somewhere that gets more snow, these could be a daily driver. I think this would be...
What? First off, I would never own these on the East Coast. It's just such a weird suggestion. Like that chatter and that area, it's not something I would recommend. I would probably do the Bent 100 as a dedicated powder ski. I guess it depends on where you are. The East Coast is really broad, but this is such a weird ski to suggest for the East Coast specifically because it's so wide. It probably would do fine in the Glades, but it's a really weird recommendation for the East Coast, to be honest. A daily driver on the West Coast? You could, but I don't know. I guess you could in Snowbird, but look around you. Like, look at the winners. They're not that consistent. This would be a daily driver for like 1 month total out of the year. What a weird suggestion. He went opposite. It's like, I would say this is a really good powder ski for finding stuff in the woods. If you like glades, it's an easy recommendation. The East Coast, I would maybe look at something a little bit narrower, but that's just my opinion. I don't know what he's talking about.
Be a great powder ski for an intermediate skier, someone who's kind of mastered the fundamentals, it's kind of working on skiing more aggressively, but they still want to go out on powder days and not sink on their skinny skis. So
it's for East Coast people, West Coast daily driver, and intermediate powder? No, because this has really short turn radiuses, so it's like really good for the trees, and most intermediate people don't care about any of the freestyle aspects. No, if you're an intermediate powder skier and you're new to it, I would pick something really light like the Atomic Backland that's really forgiving. This isn't a very good recommendation because usually early powder people aren't going to go deep into the trees. This is such a weird recommendation. Like, it's like he read someone else's notes. I don't get it. Yeah, if you are an intermediate powder skier, I would look at the Headcore 105, which is really forgiving, and the Atomic Backland 107. Both very light and very forgiving powder skis.
Want something they can grab that's easy to maneuver and still have a blast when it snows a lot. These would also be a great option for advanced to expert skiers who are lighter and who want a more playful, kind of jibby style ski. This would be great for someone who likes to do side hits or hit natural features or even go into the backcountry and like build a kicker.
If you enjoyed this review,
he just listed every skier type. Did he leave anyone out? You know, it might be good for snowboarders if you really think about it. Come on, like, he literally just described every skier type out there. If I like this video, did I like this video? Did I like self-inflicted harm? I don't know. Maybe I keep doing it, so there must be something pulling me back. Yeah, sure. I'll give you guys a like. There we go. Boom. Like. Ugh. I've been like more forgiving to Curated over the years because I think I get it now. Like, now that I've made more videos, I get that it's hard. It's hard to like line the footage up perfectly. But this was awful. This was bad. Okay, we recommend it to like almost everyone, but also it's a pretty niche tool. It doesn't carve well, even though that's like the one thing it actually does pretty well, assuming it's not, you know, it's the right conditions and you're considering that's a 110 width. I don't know, man. I kind of thought with time they'd get better because they have less like random people doing it. You know, you start to see some more familiar faces. But this was awful. I'm gonna give this 2 thumbs down. It was kind of like a shotgun spread of just let's do say a bunch of things and eventually something will hit the wall. And it didn't feel very relevant to what I felt with those skis. The Atomic Bent 110 is a fantastic powder ski. It's probably the only powder ski I've seen that really competed with the QST 106 this year for me. Actually, that's not true. The Black Crow's Atris was really fun. Zach and I were talking about how we kind of missed that ski, how sendy it was. So anyway, there's a bunch of good skis out there. This is one of my favorites. I would say if you're somebody who's looking for a powder ski that can also make short radius turns for the trees, where you can go and find those hidden stashes of powder, this ski is excellent for that, and this is absolutely what I recommend. I have affiliate links down below. I'll put a few of them so you can look at like Evo, UtahSkis.com, which is where I found the best deal, and REI, all those places. I think this is a fantastic ski and I would not hesitate to recommend it. So if you like this channel and you're planning on buying these skis anyway and you want a free way to support the channel, that's a really good way to do it. You can also like and subscribe, but as always, more than anything, thanks for being here. Thanks for suffering through this with me. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. See ya.